My question is, how does it feel to know that a legend like David Coverdale holds you in high regard?
It's surreal, man. David is still my favorite all-time singer, and it was an absolute honor to be a part of his reptile party for a couple of months before the tour ended, and I'm very honored that I got that call. It's a very honorable call. It was great. I love those people and enjoyed every moment of touring and hanging out with David and Tommy and Joel and Reb and Mikel and Tanya. Wish it lasted longer, but it was amazing. Great tour with Foreigner in Europe, and yeah, can't believe it's been already 3 years since that ended.
This is Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal, and today we are talking to Dino Jelusick. How are you, Dino?
I'm good. Just woke up.
Don't tell me. So, your band Jelusick released Follow the Blind Man in 2023, which won a Purin Award. But you also released an album called A Political Ecstasy. Are
Yeah.
big differences and intention behind A Political Ecstasy compared to the ambition in Follow the Blind Man?
Uh, I don't like to compare albums because every album is a different story. So to me, it's A Political Ecstasy has differences in, well, both in songwriting and production. It's more of a band album because Follow the Blind Man was written when we were still Animal Drive, and then we just cut two songs. One of the songs ended up on A Political Ecstasy, and we add Acid Rain and Healer. This one is more, I think, has more of a flow. It's more of a album. Follow the Blind Man to me has always been a collection of singles together on one album. That's how I see it.
And the title, A Political Ecstasy, suggests an evasion of political themes through music. Do you intentionally seek to offer an escape route, a pure rock energy for the listener?
A Political Ecstasy is well, it's apolitical, so it's a totally different than political, and it's something that I live on. I'm very apolitical. I don't follow what's going on, and it's been going well for me. And to me, that's a perfect world where politics don't exist in terms of like everything is ruled by politics. And a political ecstasy is a pill that I made up in my mind that when you drink it, everything is just the way it is. There's no order. There's just what you do is what you get, and everything is positive.
Hi, I'm Tony Gonzalez, and this is Made in Metal. If you are passionate about rock and metal, this channel is your home. Here we celebrate the musicians, songwriters, and producers who have made history. We have already interviewed some incredible artists, and with your subscription, we can go even farther. Your support gives us visibility, open doors, and allow us to keep creating powerful, authentic content. Subscribe, share, and be part of this metal loving community. Thanks for being here. You mentioned Animal Drive. I hear your voice for the first time in Animal Drive. And now in the band Jelusick, you have Ivan Keller on guitar,
Yeah,
who was with
yeah,
you in Animal Drive. Tell me,
yeah.
how was your synergy evolved from Animal Drive to Jelusick?
Keller and I have been, well, it's been 10 years now since he moved to Zagreb, so we've been playing together for 10 years. We're very different but very same. And I always try to push him outside of his comfort zone, and that's when we get all the magic. Animal Drive was more hard rock, 80s hard rock based with a heavier edge. Jelusick is more diverse in terms of genre. You have songs like Apolitical Ecstasy, What the Hell is Going On, Jaws of Life, which one is prog, one is acoustic country song, and one is uh, a long prog epic song. We didn't have that stuff in Animal Drive. We were going more towards like 80s stuff, like Whitesnake and Skid Row, you know. So we just want to explore more on each album and just give more musically. That's all.
I don't know if you know that we are talking from Spain. We usually speak Spanish, and in Spanish the name is Ivan. Maybe in English is Ivan.
No, in Croatia it's Ivan as well.
Ah, perfect. So
Yeah.
you understood. Yes, we remember that you started your career in the Junior Eurovision winner, and then you solidify yourself as the hard rock metal vocalist. How do you feel the success in Eurovision was a blessing that gave you a platform, or a shadow you had to escape to be taken seriously in the rock world?
First, it was a blessing, of course. Then later, it was a curse because especially in Croatia, going to high school and you have to prove yourself as a rock metal guy, and everybody knows you as a kid that sing on Eurovision. I just worked hard. I believed that it's possible, and here I am. Everything is possible. You just have to be that guy, work hard, and just keep grinding, keep hustling, and just keep working.
You work hard, Dino. You hold a master's degree in music, which sets you apart from many rock stars who are only thinking on sex and drinks and party all night long, rock and roll all night and party every day. And tell me, in what way your formal academic training and your mastery influence your hard rock composition?
It didn't really influence my rock composition. I just studied classical music, and I got to know a lot of great classical music, which maybe helped me harmonically to like think differently when I was writing songs. I also finished 2 years of jazz just to see what more can it give to me, so I can bring more to the table as an artist in the future. And maybe it helped. I can't tell really now because I've been doing so many things that what really influenced me, I've been doing this for so long that I can't really recall what was the turning point. Musical academy was not that. I'm happy that I finished it and that I have a classical education, but it's very different from this world.
We remember that in 2014 you underwent surgery, and I think that this was a critical moment, and especially you as a singer. Can you describe the process of rebuilding your voice and technique after the surgery?
I just had to be quiet for a while, and after that I took a little break, and then it took a while for me to come back, and I slowly came back, but the voice was still there, and everything became better and better. And it just gets better and better, to be honest with you. I sound better than I did in my 20s, and my voice is actually getting more and more deep, as you can tell. But my high notes are still there. They sound juicier and bigger, and I think my prime is coming now. So that was a very disturbing moment, not knowing what's going to happen with your voice, and you've been working on that for so long, but I'm all right now.
But there was a moment when you were afraid or sad for this, or you thought that your career will be over for this surgery?
I never thought about that.
In 2014, you released an album called, I'm sorry if I can tell exactly.
Nosotros and sve, yeah, I know.
Process Sunset.
Yeah.
Process Sunset is based on a novel, 260 Days, about the Croatian War of Independence. What motivates you to record this deeply personal and politically charged rock?
I was asked by the person that wrote that book to write a theme song, and after that happened, he asked me to write a concept album. I read the book and I wrote a concept album.
It was as easy as this because I wrote a book.
Well, it was well. I read the book and I took chapters and I wrote songs based on chapters. I mean, I can talk for days, but we don't have that much time, so I'm trying to cut it short because it's.
So I have written 3 books. Maybe this I will send you one, and if you read and like it, you can have a song, and I can have a song.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Really good. Dino. And tell me, after Animal Drive was dissolved for a long legal dispute, you found Jelusick. How does the creative freedom and artistic control in the Jelusick project differ from your previous experience?
It's, well, almost the same people, but we're more grown-ups and we're more mature in terms of songwriting, in terms of, well, we're more grown and we don't have label. Animal Drive was under Frontiers. This is when you work alone, you have more freedom. So I can do whatever I can do whatever I want. I don't have to ask for permission. I don't have to send songs and say and get, okay, yes, we'll release this. I do whatever I want. It's called freedom.
When I read the news in 2019 that you will be part of Whitesnake, on one hand, I was amazed, but on the other, I considered that it was a regular step for David Coverdale to do this. My question is, how does it feel to know that a legend like David Coverdale holds you in high regard?
It's surreal, man. David is still my favorite all-time singer, and it was an absolute honor to be a part of his reptile party for a couple of months before the tour ended, and I'm very honored that I got that call. It's a very honorable call.
And what is like working and touring with Whitesnake?
It was great. I love those people and enjoyed every moment of touring and hanging out with David and Tommy and Joel and Reb and Mikel and Tanya. Wish it lasted longer, but it was amazing. Great tour with Foreigner in Europe, and yeah, can't believe it's been already 3 years since that ended.
On Frontiers, apart from Animal Drive and you, there was a Spanish band called Lords of Black, whose singer
Yeah, no.
was, yes, the singer was Ronnie Romero. And then when Richie Blackmore called Ronnie Romero, the band was in an impasse. So the band, a member of the band, called you and invite you to be part of Lords Black, or is just a gossip?
No, I was invited to be in Lords of Black. I was. I filled in for Ronnie in 2019 in Leyendas del Rock, but I didn't want to do two bands at the same time. And I could, because Tony had plans for touring and had plans for Animal Drive to tour, and we just couldn't come to a schedule that could work for both.
You were member of Trans-Siberian Orchestra in 2016. This gave you a significant exposure in the US market and high-level industry contacts. How does the discipline and production of Trans-Siberian Orchestra is compared to another band like Whitesnake?
I don't want to compare bands to bands. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is the biggest touring band in America. Production is ridiculous. It's so well organized, and I did 6 tours with Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and hopefully next year I make my 7th one. We'll see. It's been a while since I toured with them. It really shaped me up into a better singer and performer. You know, singing with all these great singers just has to make you a better one. So I really, 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 really enjoyed it. And I had a great time, and I love Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
And in 2023, you joined Whom God Destroyed, the extraordinary supergroup. And given the technical complexity of this band, do you feel this project best validates your technical and vocal capacity, or is simple another side of your versatility?
It's another side of my versatility. You know, sometimes if music is too complex, vocals can have enough space to show. And I can show a lot more of my vocal abilities in some softer genres, which is something I plan on doing in the future. And Whom God Destroy is something that Derek Sherinian, Ron Thal, Bumblefoot, and I started back in 2021. But we had to wait for the court dissolvement, and then we could finally launch the band.
Yes. And now, in this moment, 2025, apart from Jelusick, are you involved in another project?
Well, Jelusick is the only thing. Jelusick is my only. It's my main band. We tour a lot. Whom Gods Destroy, we just did one album. We never did one concert. So the if you want to follow me, Jelusick is the thing you should follow. That's what I think.
You are a prolific songwriter. And what is the starting point of your composition process? The lyric, the music?
Sometimes lyrics, sometimes riff, sometimes melody. It really depends. There are no rules. Everything starts differently.
And when a song starts with a riff, are you who find the riff, or there is another person who gives the riff and you consider interesting?
I mostly write stuff and send it, and then Keller takes my riff and he makes it his own. So it's teamwork.
So in Jelusick, you usually sing the songs that you wrote. But for example, you collaborate with Michael Romeo on Symphony X in the recording called War of the World Part 2. How did you approach to a project where you need to sing songs that are written by another person?
I approach it the way that I feel and that they want, but Romeo is and Symphony X is so natural to me that when I heard the demos, I knew what to do. I did some stuff on my own. I think most of the bridges on that album were vocally written by me, but everything else is pretty much very Symphony X. So my vocal approach was very similar to Russell Allen because that's how the melodies sound. It's pretty much this. Melodies are very similar.
I remember that you sang a song from the Triumph anniversary album, Fight the Good Fight. It's the only song that is recorded twice in this CD. One is sung by you, the other for Ann Wilson or Nancy Wilson, I don't remember.
Nancy.
Nancy Wilson. But this performance of Fight the Good Fight was extraordinary and touched my heart. And I think that even when it's the last song of the recording, is maybe one of the first for the fans of the Triumph Legacy. So congratulations for this, and
Thank you.
thank you for your performance. And I tell you this because the critics compare your power to that of Robert Plant, Ian Gillan, Ronnie James Dio. You have told me more than once that you don't want to compare anybody, but if you could name one singer, dead or alive, from whom you learn the most critical technical skill, who will it be and what specific technique did you adopt?
I learned technique by myself from no one. That was me, and I don't want to give influential credit for technique. I want to give influential credit for style and for I was of course touched by Ronnie and Coverdale and Jolene Turner and Sammy Hagar and Ray Gillen. I love those singers, but I was shaping up my voice by myself. So listening to them and seeing what I can do with my voice and just exploring stuff. It's a lot of work on your own.
In your job, you have to sing songs that are classicals, for example, some Whitesnake and Deep Purple songs. But I saw a cover that you did from Boston for Play Long Time. And is there a song, classic hard rock or metal song, which you haven't yet performed and you would like to think to sing for the complexity of the song?
No, I sang every song on God's earth, and I'm okay not singing covers anymore.
So apart from music, do you have another influence for art, literature, movies, video games?
No, not really. Not really. Not really. No, I'm only musically influenced person. I'm not influenced by movies and books regarding music. Not yet. Maybe I will be in the future.
Have you worked in the film industry?
I didn't.
Uh, because maybe I read, but it's not sure that you make a character or you add, give your voice to a character?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I do that I do all the time.
But please explain me a little more.
They call me, they hire me, and I do voiceovers for movies, for animated movies, for cartoons. There's nothing more to explain. It's very simple. They call you, they give you character, you give your voice, and everybody watches that in cinema. And that's how it is.
But in English or Croatian?
Croatian, of course.
Croatian, of course. It's funny because yes, the cartoons are most of the time translated with local voices. Your global success has led you to endless tours. As a Croatian musician on the international stage, is there something from Croatia, a tradition, food, or something that helped you grounded or remind your roots while you are on tour?
Yeah, I love Croatian food a lot. I miss it when I'm on tour. I mean, we always get homesick at some point of touring. I love living here. This is my home. But I also I don't like being here too much because I'm not a fan of this mentality and I love traveling. So it's just a balance of chaos and peace.
Some critics says that you are the best young vocalist all over the world. Do you consider this is a weight that you need to carry, or there is some pressure over you for expression like that?
There's always been pressure on me, but I don't really think about that. I'm glad that they still see me as one of the best in the genre or whatever they say, but it doesn't really affect me. I'm still gonna work on everything that I can to always be better.
So you consider yourself a down-to-earth person?
Oh, absolutely.
My last question is that you are known for your energy and humor off stage. What has been the most surreal or funniest behind the scenes moment you have experienced with David Coverdale, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, whom or any other band you have shared the stage?
Man, that's a all the funniest stuff is something that we never talk about in interviews because it's what happens on the bus stays on the bus. So I can't give you details on what was funny to us because it's probably not something that's appropriate for public. I'm not saying we did anything bad. I just whatever I think of is not going to be as funny. So it's 11 in the morning. I can't remember what was funny. David Coverdale was so funny every day that it would take me an hour to just write down top 25 jokes of David. So right now, I don't know, man. I've it's a very awkward question because if I say it, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, if it's gonna be funny, if it's gonna be inappropriate. So I'm just gonna leave you thinking.
With a political ecstasy, are you preparing a tour? Are you going to tour across Europe or America?
We're not gonna tour America. We have problems with getting visa, but as far as European tour, we'll see. I gotta talk to our manager. We'll see.
Yes.
No plans for now.
Yes, and now that you tell me this, have you thinking of having another nationality, another passport, who made you easier to travel across Europe or America, of course?
To have another passport, I have to get a green card, which is really hard. So I don't have that in my mind right now.
Dino, thank you. Thank you for wake up earlier to attend my questions. And I hope to see you one day here in Madrid. If you come to Madrid, I will call your brother and see if we can meet in person and have a few words.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And if you
Thank
like
you so much, man.
If you like something from Spain, beer, red wine, or something,
Absolutely.
I will give you.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.